Yeah, Peter Semler. I wanted to get back to Mr. Leonard. Hi, Peter Semler. The Howard University trustees have the ultimate say on this project, and our information is they had not been contacted for formal approval. You also have the custos of the Franciscan monastery, Custos Patton, who's very upset with the plan because it violates original sale, the deed of sale. It is also against the federal law. Plus, we all voted against this on a Ward 5 meeting recognized by Kenyon McDuffie, our council member. Can we go back to the Divinity School and get the investment? There's a lot of people who want to invest it and go back to what it is originally purposed for and which you're legally obliged to keep. And we have to have a meeting later with the Howard University trustees. This is too big of an issue, national and globally, for this to be let at this level. Sorry. Can you respond, Mr. Leonard?
Thank you. Would you please respond? And then Mr. Lowen. Okay, please respond.
I responded initially. Regardless of what you say or believe, President Frederick will not go beyond the charter that exists, nor will he go beyond the Board of Trustees. Period. If you don't trust him or if you don't trust the institution, I can't. There's nothing I can do to convince you this evening. What I will say is Howard University will continue to work with the community in the manner that it has and will. What I will say is we have not, as Derek was putting forth, enough information to you all. We didn't put the information to you because nothing has changed. Fundamentally, nothing has changed. But we will, if we have to come to the meeting and continue to say that, we absolutely will. What I've learned from this is that there are a number of people that we need to engage in the same manner as we've done with the campus master plan. And I keep saying that because 8 months ago in the campus master plan, there were a lot of concerns and frankly, mistrust. You know, people were concerned at LaJoy Park, where are we going to place the hospital? People were concerned about all sorts of things that we were talking about. And we're talking about some very revolutionary movements regarding the campus. And at the end of the situation, at the end of it, we have all of the civic associations signed up and the ANC signed up. So what we have to do is begin that engagement with this body.
Thank you, Mr. Lowen. Tonight, we'll have Mr. Joe Leonard, who is the Director of Community Engagement with Howard University. Mr. Montero, who is the Chief of Staff to the President of Howard University. Mr. Derek Williams, Director, Campus Planning, Architecture, and Development. And Mr. Fred Greene from FLGA LLC, Real Estate Group. Mr. Leonard will be heading our conversation this evening, and he will defer to others as needed. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Leonard. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you very much for putting this together. I think one of the main things of this meeting I would like to convey is how closely we work with you. You know that we're a phone call away. And even in this instance, we were a phone call away. So when you said that there's a lot of information, frankly, misinformation going around in the community, we need to have this call. And I said, what was myself, Derek, Paul, and Fred said, what's the closest time that you can do it? We had a call a week ago. You said 1 week, you have to give at least 1 week's notice, and we're here. Really, the purposes of the call is to simply provide a venue to reiterate Howard University's recommitment and commitment to the goals of developing the sites, to eliminate any ambiguity or any sort of anecdotal information that's going around. The university continues to evaluate its options on the site, but more importantly than anything, nothing has changed. People are saying that Howard is going behind the scenes and trying to change the comp plan. That is not accurate. That is absolutely not accurate. Everything that existed in 2019 exists to this day. So I think that it's vital. I mean, absolutely vital to really restate our commitment, mainly because we haven't been here in a while, and I certainly would blame myself for that. And that's really where I want to begin the narrative of this conversation. So I could go a little further, but I really want to stop there because it's important to say that nothing has changed. And we're going forward with everything that we communicated to the community earlier about, and nothing in those plans have changed. But it's vital, and I understand, when you're out of sight, you can at times be out of mind, and people will just construct their own narratives, and we don't want any other sort of misinformation to run rampant. So I really want to just stop right there in a way, and to a degree take any questions. But the status quo as is. Commissioner Higgins was distraught because I wouldn't say distraught. I'm not going to say that, but we update her consistently, and she said, "You all need to go, and we need to go construct this form and let them know what I know," and that's why we're here. So let me stop right there. And I see Derek and Fred. The only reason I'm not on the screen is I'm at home today. Usually I do these from work, and Derek knows this. He's heard me say this 100 times. I have a screen issue, and that's why I would usually stay at work. So that's the only reason. Outside of that, I certainly would be on the screen as well.
Yeah, and this is Fred. Can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure. Sorry, I'm always questionable when it comes to technology, but for a lot of you guys, I've seen a number of familiar faces on here. Naturally, given we've been working with the community over the past few years, since 2017, 2018. So, hope everyone is well. Given it's been a crazy last, 12, 18 months or so, but, did want to reiterate what Joe said is that, at least on behalf of the Master Development Team, ourselves, as well as we have Andy Creetall from ZOM, from the FLGA ZOM team, us in the university, again, continue. I think it's important. One of the reasons why this was important for us is that while, there it is essentially status quo, there are no plans that we are, necessarily presenting. The university continues to kind of evaluate its options on the site. We did think it was important to reach back out to the community, given it's been a while since we've had our charretting exercises, and to provide a venue such that we can answer any questions about where things are. But I think the most important thing from our standpoint is to confirm to the community that look, we're here to work with the ANC. We're here to work with the surrounding community with regard to the university's redevelopment plans on this site, and we want to make people rest assured that when the time comes for the university to move forward, we will definitely continue to administer an inclusive process as we have to date. We continue to value the community's input, and again, we seek to administer a comprehensive site planning process rooted in transparency and significant stakeholder engagement, and that hasn't changed, and that won't change. And so, to that point, it is important for us to be here to quell any concerns about something immediately about to happen. That's not the case. There are no permits. There's no pending construction. The university continues to evaluate its options in the context of its own portfolio and its internal business plan. So I just want to say those couple words again. It's great having a chance to continue to engage with the community. Commissioner Higgins, thank you for organizing this, and we have been here, and we continue to be here for any questions. So,
thank you, Fred.
With FLGA and ZOM, we brought in the Urban Lands Institute to bring sort of a panel of subject matter experts that were not from the local area and didn't have any vested interest or any stake to go through a whole process. And so they went through public interviews. They talked to city officials. They talked to local developers that were doing things in the area to just kind of get a good canvas and have sort of a third party impartial lens on the development. So they came up with a number of development themes that I think Fred kind of drove home in terms of the direction. And we used that Urban Land Institute report, and they had a readout of that they do publicly. And their process is that they actually don't send us, like the owner, any of the information prior to that readout. So we had one of those. It was on actually President Frederick's birthday a few years ago. To kind of read out all the findings, and we got those findings in real time, the same as the community. We had that on campus in our Stokes library. So just to say that, I think that's probably a really good source of information. It collects a lot of feedback that both the ULI collected from the community and various different stakeholders, as well as, all the work that Fred has done, all documented on that. Fred and his team has done all documented on that website. So I really encourage all of you to take a look, and particularly at that ULI report. Because that really set the framework that we used in the solicitation that ultimately led to our award and our selection of the FLGA and ZOM team.
And for the site, there is no PUD or anything that has happened, on the site. The university, frankly, again, is still in assessment mode. Now, what some people may be conflating or referring to is yes, there is just like with the adjacent Franciscan monastery. There is a proposed designation from a future land use map standpoint from the existing institutional designation to the moderate density designation. Now, I think the important thing here for people to understand is that has been in for years now. That actually was the groundwork for the community engagement process that we engaged in. If you go and you take a look back at our community presentation, one of the things that the university was very clear with is that in its plans for this lifelong live-learn community, it sought to have a diverse housing stock that allowed for family-style housing, affordable housing, multifamily housing, graduate student potentially housing at low and moderate densities. Right, such to kind of fulfill that important housing gap, and the future land use designation that the university is proposing for the site is consistent with that. And so I think it's important to clarify that there is no zoning application in the future land use designation. Is simply something that was done in support for the goals that we have articulated to the community to date. And so there's no inconsistency there. There's no proposal to build some large high-rises, at the site or anything like that. That designation is consistent with the programming that you will find on our website back since presented as of July 2019. So I do want to kind of clarify that. So.
Thank you. My name is Roman Haferd, and I know there's some Howard students and faculty on the line in this meeting. And, you've talked about the engagement process with other, companies and ULI, but a key constituency that's been missing from the charrette process are the students themselves and the alums. And they've been doing great work, which they really would like to present and collaborate with you all. I know I'm going to let Mr. Hackett, Curry, if you want to unmute and say a couple things about that. And I know at least one student, Bria's on the line as well. It's just astounding the work that's been done that they've had to do really outside of the process, but are ready with this meeting to integrate into your process. So go ahead, Curry.
Sure. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Again, I'm Curry Hackett, DC resident of 12 years. Actually went to Haferd for my architecture degree. Hey, Derek. I now have a practice that's situated sort of at the intersection of culture and history and ecology, and so this project is super close to me, super important to me, I think, for a lot of reasons.
The historic institutional setting, not necessarily filled in, surrounded by, this type of thing. So I just wanted to share that to really honor why people are concerned.
Can you scroll up, if you don't mind, that shows the general, because those are thematic. The color code, there's a couple pages above that kind of show the theme, because that's a theme.
These are new streets. You know,
the next one up. The next one that shows themes. Yeah, so this is themes, and this is exactly what. And to be honest, what you're discussing, this is something that's come from Dr. Frederick. So I think it's more of a higher level question, for the university. But I think what's important to say, what you have in front of you are not plans. These are, as you know, these are just themes. These are land use themes to suggest how the university generally could conceive itself meeting its business plan goals for there to be diverse housing on this site that are geared toward Howard workforce, geared toward graduate students, geared toward affordable family style, right? So I don't want to call these. I think it would be unfair calling these plans, because the university, frankly, does not have formal plans that it is decided to advance on this site. It does have themes, and these themes, what you see here, came from feedback from the first charrette. So this was not developed in a vacuum. This right here was developed with feedback from over 100 community stakeholders in guiding some of these themes about uses and open space and whatnot. And so these are the themes that will guide the university. But again, we are hyper early in the process to be thinking about design and whatnot. So I want to be clear that what you see there are themes that are helping the university guide its reimagination based on the feedback.
Yeah, I just want to speak up as a licensed architect and urban designer. I think that I really appreciate the pointing out of the pillars of job training and that involvement with for the future students in whatever this project takes place. But as someone who's often involved in these kind of community engagement projects, what I think is important to underscore is that non-licensed professionals in these community settings also don't always have the language to articulate what other options and other possibilities might be possible for a site like this. And while this is not a plan that we see in front of us, it's not too hard to sort of fill in, an understanding of the subdivision of this site into residential parcels,